In the bustling town of Harborside, people always had something to talk about. The town was lively, with busy markets, cheerful parks, and a beautiful harbor where ships came and went. But there was one mystery that everyone in Harborside loved to discuss: the mysterious musician. Every Saturday evening, without fail, beautiful music would drift through the streets of Harborside. It was always the same hauntingly beautiful melody, played on a violin. But no one knew who the musician was or where the music was coming from. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Mia, a 12-year-old girl with a love for adventure, was especially curious about the mysterious musician. She lived with her parents in a small house near the harbor. Mia had a knack for solving puzzles and loved reading detective stories. She decided that she would find out who the mysterious musician was. One Saturday evening, as the sun began to set, Mia heard the familiar melody begin to play. She grabbed her notebook and pencil, determined to follow the music to its source. She quietly slipped out of the house and into the street. The music seemed to float on the evening breeze, making it hard to pinpoint its origin. Mia walked through the market square, past the bakery where the smell of fresh bread lingered in the air, and towards the park where children were finishing their games for the day. But the music still seemed to be coming from all directions. Determined not to give up, Mia decided to climb the hill that overlooked the harbor. From there, she thought she might get a better sense of where the music was coming from. She reached the top of the hill just as the last light of the sun dipped below the horizon. As she stood there, the music seemed to be louder, more enchanting. Mia closed her eyes and listened carefully, trying to catch any clue. Suddenly, she heard a faint, rhythmic tapping, almost like footsteps. She opened her eyes and looked down towards the harbor. There, near the old lighthouse, she saw a shadowy figure. The figure was moving slowly, as if it was gliding across the ground. Mia's heart raced with excitement. She hurried down the hill and towards the lighthouse, careful not to make a sound. As she got closer, she could see the figure more clearly. It was an elderly man with silver hair, dressed in old-fashioned clothes. He was playing a violin, completely absorbed in the music. Mia watched in awe as his fingers danced over the string, producing the beautiful melody that had captivated the town for so long. Mia wanted to approach him, but she didn't want to startle him. She decided to wait until he finished playing. The man played for a few more minutes, then slowly lowered his violin and looked out over the harbor with a wistful expression. Taking a deep breath, Mia stepped forward and said softly, "Excuse me, sir." The man turned, surprised to see her. He smiled kindly and said, "Hello there. What brings you here?" Mia introduced herself and explained how she had been trying to find the source of the mysterious music. The man chuckled and said, "Well, it seems you found me. My name is Mr. Samuel." Mr. Samuel looked out over the water and sighed. "I used to be a musician, many years ago. I played in orchestras and traveled the world. But now, I play here, by the harbor, where my wife and I spent our happiest days together. Passed away many years ago, but playing this melody makes me feel close to her." Mia listened with a mixture of sadness and admiration. "Your music is beautiful. Everyone in town loves it, but no one knew who was playing. Mr. Samuel smiled warmly. I'm glad my music brings joy to others. That was always my goal, to share beauty through music. Mia had an idea. Would you like to come to the market square and play for everyone? I'm sure they would love to hear you play in person. Mr. Samuel hesitated, but then nodded. I think I would like that very much. The next Saturday evening, the market square was filled with people. Word had spread that the mysterious musician would be playing in person. There was a sense of excitement and anticipation in the air. Mia stood by the fountain, her heart pounding with excitement. She had helped set up a small stage for Mr. Samuel. When he appeared, the crowd fell silent. He took his place on the stage, looked around at the expectant faces, and began to play. The music was even more beautiful than before. The notes seemed to float through the air, wrapping around the listeners like a warm embrace. People smiled, some had tears in their eyes, and everyone was moved by the haunting melody. When Mr. Samuel finished, the crowd erupted in applause. He bowed, his eyes glistening with tears of joy. Mia felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing she had helped bring this moment to life. After the performance, many people came to thank Mr. Samuel and express their admiration. He was overwhelmed by the kindness and appreciation. As the crowd began to disperse, he found Mia and said, "Thank you, Mia. You've given me a wonderful gift. Playing for the town has brought me great happiness." Mia smiled brightly. "I'm glad, Mr. Samuel. Your music is a gift to all of us." From that day on, Mr. Samuel played in the market square every Saturday evening. The town of Harborside had a new tradition, and the mysterious musician was no longer a mystery. He was a cherished part of the community, bringing people together with his beautiful music. Mia continued to visit Mr. Samuel, learning about music and hearing his stories of adventures from the past. They became close friends, and Mia's love for music grew even stronger. In the bustling town of Harborside, the sound of Mr. Samuel's violin became a symbol of joy and unity. And every time the beautiful melody filled the air, people remembered the young girl who had solved the mystery and brought a community closer together through the power of music.